So when I was a kid, the very first movie that I saw in a movie theater was Jurassic Park. So I was like three-ish, and like all kids, I love dinosaurs. So I think kind of stemmed out from that. I remember going to like Blockbuster or some of the local video rental places, and like walking down, looking at all the box art on the tapes. And I think the first one I ever rented was King Kong versus Godzilla. And then they would play them a lot on TV, and so I just caught a bunch on the television or rented them at the video store, and my love just kind of grew from there. I've been working at the Music Box for 10 years at the end of next month. And I think I came up with an idea for some iteration of this like 8 years ago. And I was like, we got to play some of these. We got to play some of these. I knew that it was very hard to come across a lot of the Godzilla titles. Originally, it was like Toho wants this much for it, or like they don't have the rights, or this, that, and the other. And so I kind of kept hammering home on these things. During the pandemic, when we had to shut down and then reopen, we had severely limited seating capacity. So our main auditorium has like 750 seats. We could only have 50 in there. And when we reopened, there wasn't a lot of like indie fare or smaller like mid-major distributor titles being released. So we were doing some of the larger titles. So we ended up booking Godzilla versus Kong and came up with the idea to what if we ran a couple of the Showa stuff, since Janus had the rights then, and we worked with them a lot. So we ran a small series, like 4 titles, in there the week before that we opened that, and they all did really well. Selling out at 50, which there was some desire there, and our run of that also did well. It's like seeing that happening. I recognized that the 70th anniversary was coming up this year, as well as the new American movie -1 and the TV show. It's like I think eyes will be on this, and so I pitched this formally back in November, and then the Japanese Arts Foundation in Chicago, who we're partnered with on this event, also reached out to our GM saying like, hey, we should do something for the 70th. So it all kind of came together very neatly in a way, and they gave me free reign to do this. The idea for the Showa Marathon was I've written some pieces on the series before. I did a ranking list for Consequence of Sound a couple years ago, as well as I was writing up a list for Bloody Disgusting last year, and I was like, how much time have I spent watching all of these? Because I would run through all of them again. And there was some website, it was like, oh, movie marathon, this is the length of stuff. And I like looked to see how long the show era was, and I'm like, oh my god, it's under 24 hours. We do a horror marathon every year in the fall. It's 24 hours, and it's like, we could do this, and I don't think anyone has ever done this before, so it would be a really fun, unique thing that we could put on, and they gave me the green light to do it. So I think when I did my rankings list for this stuff, I had put -1 at like number 3 and Shin at number 2. Like I was like, I'm so high on both of them. The more I've thought about it, I think I'm eventually probably going to end up putting -1 over Shin, but they're so close, neck and neck. The best has to be the original. I mean, it's so good. It's like tone is struck so well. It's tragic. There's like good human elements to it. It's kind of horrifying in a way, and the metaphor is just like it's perfectly written. I was a big fan, and probably still is my favorite, Godzilla versus Destroya. I had like a deep affinity for the Heisei era stuff, and I really, really just enjoy those a lot. I really remember really liking Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from the 90s, as well as Mothra versus Godzilla, the Showa era one. I would say another favorite of mine is probably either Mothra versus Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, or Ghidorah. I mean, those are like just it's before everything shifts to being extremely silly, and they still pull off a lot of the effects, and it's that trinity of Honda, Tsuburaya, and Ifukube all working together, so it pans out nicely. I tried like hell to get anybody out from Godzilla '98 I emailed um, Roland Emmerich. I don't think he was aiming for that. I was able to get points of contact for several of the principal cast members, like their agents or their managers, and reach out. We had some discussions with some of them, and either the fee was too much or they were unavailable, so that kind of fell through. But I've been pretty happy with what I'm able to pull off with it overall. I mean, this is just coming from a place of sincere love, and that I'm just really excited that I'm finally able to share this with a lot of people, and that there seems to be a great level of excitement for it. So, will we do this again? Not to this level. I could see some smaller iteration of it in the future, but I'm glad that I'm just so glad that it's happening.